Ever feel like, you're just drowning in career advice online? Like too much, you know? We hear you.
It can be overwhelming, for sure.
Totally. So today we're going to cut through the noise, okay?
Yeah.
We're doing a deep dive on a career path. Well, honestly, it's kind of cool. And it's way more important than people realize. We're talking specialized goods distribution management.
It doesn't always have the buzz that some tech jobs get,
Right.
but it's really crucial to how the whole, global economy actually works.
Yeah. And forget those old ideas about logistics, like it's just trucks and warehouses or something.
Yeah.
We're talking serious strategy here.
Yeah.
Solving problems on like a global level and working with everything. Like I'm talking life-saving vaccines one day.
Right.
Priceless like, ancient artifacts the next.
Think about it, right? Pretty much everything we use daily, from, like you said, your phone to the medicine we take, it all gets to us through these crazy complex distribution networks. And somebody's got to manage that whole system, make sure those specialized goods actually get where they need to be safely, on time. That's our Specialized Goods Distribution Manager.
Talk about impact, right? And luckily for us, RoleCatcher, they have this awesome guide on what it really takes to make it in this field. So let's break it down. What does a Specialized Goods Distribution Manager actually do day to day? RoleCatcher, they split it into these clear career stages. So you start entry level, right? Like a distribution assistant.
Exactly. And as a distribution assistant, you're getting your hands dirty, you're learning the ropes of inventory management, handling all those shipments. Really, you're becoming like the organization master of the warehouse.
It's all about the details of that level,
Mm-hmm.
being precise. But you're not just like sorting boxes blindly. You're starting to learn the language of logistics, how all those pieces fit into like the giant puzzle.
Absolutely.
Right.
As you gain experience, you might move up, become a distribution coordinator. So now you're taking on even more responsibility, coordinating the whole movement of these goods, and you might even be negotiating with suppliers to make sure those deliveries are happening on time.
So you're starting to see that bigger picture, right? You're learning how to optimize those delivery routes, manage the inventory so there's no waste, and you might even start getting into some data analysis to see where the bottlenecks are, where you can improve. It's a fast-paced environment for sure. You got to think on your feet, adapt to any curveballs that get thrown at you.
And that's where things get really interesting. Remember those vaccines we mentioned? Imagine having to completely reroute a shipment because there's a massive storm, making sure those life-saving doses still get where they need to be and on time. That's the kind of challenge a distribution coordinator might deal with.
High stakes, real impact. Definitely not for someone who's, afraid of a little pressure.
Mhm.
But those challenges, they come with some pretty sweet rewards too, right?
Oh, absolutely. RoleCatcher doesn't try to hide the fact that it's demanding, long hours, high stress, constant problem solving. It's part of the job. But the earning potential, excellent. It reflects how critical this role is to a company's success. And there's a very clear path for moving up. You can climb that ladder, become a distribution supervisor. Now you're managing a team, overseeing all those day-to-day operations.
We're basically like conducting the orchestra of logistics, making sure everything flows smoothly. And then, of course, the ultimate goal for a lot of folks is hitting those management positions, right?
Yeah.
Distribution manager, maybe even senior distribution manager.
Now you're in the big leagues. You're setting the strategic direction for the whole thing, overseeing budgets, collaborating with all the top-level people at the company. You've gone from the warehouse floor to shaping how the entire distribution network operates. It's pretty impressive.
Okay, so we've talked about the different stages of this whole career path, but now for the how. What skills do you actually need to really thrive as a specialized goods distribution manager? RoleCatcher gives this whole big list, but a few jumped out at me. And honestly, the first one surprised me. Negotiation.
Makes sense, though, when you stop and think about it.
Right.
This role is all about building relationships, finding solutions that actually work for everybody involved. You're negotiating the best prices from suppliers, coordinating with those transportation companies, even managing expectations within your own team. It's a lot of juggling.
Like being a diplomat, but in the world of logistics.
Exactly.
You need to be persuasive, you need tact, you have to find those win-win situations, even when everybody wants different things.
And speaking of challenges, let's not forget about risk analysis. I mean, we've all seen how, I guess, fragile is the word, how fragile those global supply chains can be these days. A specialized goods distribution manager, they need to be thinking 10 steps ahead. What could go wrong, and what's the backup plan when it does?
Like, are we talking chess master level thinking here?
Kinda, yeah.
Volcano erupts and now air freight is out, or suddenly there's a shortage of some crucial part. You got to be ready for anything.
Absolutely. That's where those analytical skills are crucial. You're digging into the data, assessing all those potential risks, and coming up with plans to keep those goods moving no matter what obstacles pop up.
You've got to stay calm under pressure, that's for sure. Think clearly, make the right decisions, especially when the stakes are high. And it's not just about, dodging those problems. You also got to understand the actual stuff you're moving. Like those sterilized goods, they have their own needs, right?
That's huge, yeah. A bottle of fancy wine is going to need a different approach than a super sensitive piece of medical equipment, right?
Oh, for sure.
We're talking temperature control, security, even just the materials you use for packaging. It all depends on what you're actually shipping.
You're like a, specialized problem solver, constantly shifting gears to keep those goods safe and on schedule. You mentioned medical equipment before. It makes you realize how, broad this whole field is.
Absolutely. I mean, beyond the obvious ones like, manufacturing and retail, you've got healthcare, pharmaceuticals, even the art world. They all rely on these specialized goods distribution managers.
Imagine being the one in charge of moving, a priceless Renaissance painting.
Oh, wow.
You'd need to know all about art handling, crazy security, international shipping laws. Talk about niche.
And don't forget about the whole e-commerce boom, right? We just click buy online without even thinking about it.
It's so easy.
But behind the scenes, there's this whole army of professionals making sure those packages show up at our door quickly and, not broken.
It's like this hidden world that keeps everything running. So let's say someone's listening and they're like, this is me, this is my thing.
Yeah.
How do they stand out? What are some ways to, level up that expertise?
RoleCatcher really stresses certifications, and not just any random online course, These are industry-recognized things, proof that you understand how supply chain management actually works.
Like a badge of honor in the logistics world.
Exactly. One of the big ones is the CSCP, the Certified Supply Chain Professional. It's globally recognized, covers the entire supply chain, from getting the raw materials to delivering that final product.
So it's like the master's degree of logistics.
Pretty much.
You're learning about trade regulations, how to optimize that whole chain, risk management. It's a deep dive for sure.
Then there's the CPIM, Certified in Production and Inventory Management. That one's all about making those internal operations as efficient as possible.
Okay, so less waste, better inventory.
Exactly. Streamlining everything. And then for the people who really love the movement of goods, there's the CLP, the Certified Logistics Professional. That's the black belt. You're a master of transportation, warehousing, the whole 9 yards.
You're not messing around at that point.
Right. And these certifications, it's not about just checking a box on the resume. It shows employers you're serious, you've put in the work, you understand the challenges, but also the opportunities in the field.
That commitment to always be learning, that's what sets someone apart. Okay, but let's rewind a bit.
Right.
Say you're just starting out, maybe fresh out of school or switching careers. How do you even break into this whole world?
RoleCatcher, they really believe in hands-on experience. Internships are great for that. You're learning practical stuff, meeting people in the field, and you get a feel for what the job is really like day to day.
It's different when it's not just theory in a classroom anymore.
Yeah.
Right? You're on that warehouse floor. Things are happening now. Problems need solving.
Exactly. And even if you can't land a formal internship, don't write off entry-level work. Even being a warehouse assistant or a logistics coordinator, it's all experience. You're learning the ropes from the ground up.
It shows you're willing to put in the effort. You're paying attention to detail and you're passionate. Speaking of which, how does someone make their resume stand out? Because there's a lot of them out there.
That's where storytelling comes in.
Ooh, okay.
Don't just list your skills and experience like it's a shopping list. Use your resume to actually tell a story. Why do you love logistics? What problems have you solved? What makes you different?
Did you make something more efficient at your last job? Like save the company time or money? Did you find a solution that nobody else thought of? Those are the things to highlight.
That resume, it's your first impression. Got to make it count. And once you've got your foot in the door, it's all about networking, building those relationships, learning from the people who've been there.
So find your mentors, basically.
Yeah. RoleCatcher recommends joining industry organizations like the CSCMP, the Council of Supply Chain Management Professionals. It's a great way to connect with other people who love this stuff. You can learn from the experts, stay up to date on industry trends.
Like finding your crew.
Right.
Your people who get it.
Totally.
Okay.
And Let's not forget the IWLA, the International Warehouse Logistics Association.
Right.
Especially for those who are like really into the warehousing side of things, attending those conferences, joining the online forums, all of it. It's how you build your network, learn from the pros.
Makes sense. So it's not just what you know, it's who you know too. Always.
It's true. And speaking of, getting ahead, RoleCatcher, they have this cool tool called RoleCatcher.capture.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. It's like kind of like a cheat code for job hunting, right?
Pretty much. It's this browser plugin. You can save jobs from anywhere online, like company websites, job boards, all over.
Candy.
But here's a really cool part. It analyzes those job descriptions and then compares them to your resumes, like the ones you've already made.
Wait, so it tells you which resume to use for which job?
Yeah, no more guessing. It helps you really put your best foot forward, you know?
Yeah.
It's wild how much tech is changing how we do this whole career thing.
For sure. But honestly, as cool as all these tools are, it still comes down to you. Like your passion, how hard you're willing to work, that desire to learn and get better.
100%. Technology can help us, but at the end of the day, it's that human element that really makes the difference. Wanting to make a difference, to actually contribute something.
So true. Okay, as we wrap up our deep dive here into the world of specialized goods distribution managers, what are some big takeaways our listeners can use, even if they're not in this exact field?
I'd say, first of all, remember that careers, they don't always follow a straight line. It's okay to explore, even if something seems a little out there at first.
Right, those unexpected paths often lead to the best places. I like that.
Exactly. And never downplay those transferable skills, like whether you're coordinating shipments or, I don't know, designing websites, those abilities, problem solving, thinking critically, communicating clearly, they're valuable everywhere.
It's all about connecting the dots, right?
Yeah.
Seeing the similarities, even in different fields.
And lastly, never stop learning. Things change so fast, so be curious, look for new knowledge, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Never.
Love that. So, to everyone listening, whether you're thinking about a career in logistics, checking out different paths, or just trying to make it to this crazy world, remember this. Passion, be ready to adapt, and never stop learning. Those are your superpowers. Combine that with a little curiosity, you're going to go far. Who knows? Maybe you'll end up out there orchestrating the movement of, I don't know, life-changing goods or something, shaping the future of how we all live and work. Because in the end, we're all connected, right?
We are, more than ever.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.